Final Space is the story of a prisoner named Gary who's exiled on this ship, and he stumbles across this creature which he names Mooncake, who holds the key to opening something called Final Space. This is an animated show. It's 10 episodes long. The first season just came out and it just ended. I don't know if it's getting a lot of traction or if a lot of people have been watching it. You gotta watch this thing, man. There hasn't been a good animated show that's just really fun and lighthearted that takes itself seriously in a long time. I know a lot of people are really into Rick and Morty, and as much as I do enjoy that show, there is some flaws with it that I think are very apparent in the way the story is written, and it's not as appealing to everybody that I know. I know that there's some people that see it kind of just as this other thing that not everybody can get into. Final Space. If you can't get into this show, then you are a cynic, honestly. It's so fun, it's so lighthearted, and all the characters are just so interesting and fun to watch. Our lead, Gary, is somebody who could easily be a one-dimensional character, the kind of down-on-his-luck guy who's really funny and just makes stupid jokes all the time. But the show really expands his character's narrative and gives him motivations for what he's doing, the show his past and his future and everything about that. He loves somebody in the entirety of the show, and I really think it shows. You can see his feelings for all these different characters in it. There's a great father and son relationship in the show of two characters, Avocado and Little Cato, which I won't go into more about them, but just their whole dynamic and their place in the show is really good. As much as this is a comedy, it gets more serious than I think a lot of other animated shows do. It takes itself seriously in the tone that it's trying to set up. It's not going after the jokes on purpose, like, oh, you're going to laugh, this is what we're going to do, we're a comedy. It's telling a narrative story. The characters just happen to make jokes or do things that are funny. And it really works for this show. There are some characters that don't get as much screen time in the show. Like, there's a character called Tribor. He's a really interesting character, and he's probably one of the funniest characters in the show, just the way he acts and he talks and he looks and just does everything. He's really fun. But he doesn't get a lot of screen time. And what he does do, it serves the narrative story. But his character is also really funny and just acts really weird. The whole story is great. There's some great voice acting. There's a character named Kevin who's voiced by Fred Armisen. And if you don't like Fred Armisen, like, come on. He's just delightful. He's fun in every way. Kevin is such an interesting character that I know there's going to be more about him in the next season. All this stuff, it's hardcore in a way that's appealing to the masses, and you can really enjoy it even if you just aren't into animation as much. It was so fun. It's just really interesting to see, and everybody needs to check this one out. Final Space, it takes some really deep thoughts and ideas and does something with it that you wouldn't expect. David Tennant is the villain. He's the Lord Commander. The whole backstory of the Lord Commander in relation to some of the characters is really interesting. The character of Quinn, who is motivated and trying to find this thing, but then her whole relationship with Gary and all these different things, everything works. Even a character who doesn't talk like Mooncake, you see his whole dynamic with everybody and how everything works. I like Rick and Morty. I really do like Rick and Morty. I think it's a good show, and there's a lot of good in it. But Final Space is just more appealing in the way that it's telling an actual narrative instead of just trying to go bonkers crazy for the sake of being bonkers crazy. Final Space gets really weird in times, but it's all part of the mythology it's setting up for its own show. It's not possible to watch this and be like, oh, it's stupid. Whereas somebody like watches Rick and Morty, they can understand, oh, it's not great, there's some stupid things in it, and they go for the stupid jokes. This one is real. The characters seem real. The story seems real. And it's just a fun ride through the end. There's motivations. There's heartbreak. You feel for a lot of things going on. But you can also smile at the end and say, this was a really fun ride and I'm glad I watched it. Final Space is the show right now for me of the entirety of 2018 that people should check out. It's fun. It's got everything you want. It's got great action, great voice acting, and just, it's worth watching. Let's boost this up to Rick and Morty level, because that's what I think it needs and it deserves. This show is worth that much. So Final Space, if you haven't checked it out, go watch it. If you did watch it, you know how good it is and how good it can be in the next season. I really hope it gets another season. I really do. It's worth it. All right, guys, check it out. Final Space. Just look it up and you'll be intrigued just by looking it up. I promise that. And I will catch you in the next video. Good luck.